It is 5:15, December 3rd. I will call the meeting to order. Ashley, will you do roll call?
Lindberg,
Here.
Nippert,
Aye.
Shaven,
Here.
Kroger, here, Kelly, here, Peterson.
Here.
Thank you.
We've all received the agenda. I don't think there are any adds, subtractions. Motion to approve the agenda. Motion.
Second.
Very hearty motion by Peterson, second by Kroger.
Present this time.
Roll call Lindberg,
Aye.
Nippert,
Aye.
Shaven,
Aye.
Kroger, aye, Kelly,
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Thank you.
Any conflicts, state them now or along the way. They appear in your mind, you forget about it. Moving on to the consent agenda. All these are enacted by one motion, one roll call. We have the minutes of the November 19th, 2024 meeting, council meeting, and the November 25th county council work session, and the minutes of the November 27th special council meeting. We have the claims list, 1327, the amount of $166,479.02. We had, the large ones were sent out. Anybody, any questions, concerns about any of those? Seeing, hearing none. And then we have the Harlan Fire Department payroll for 2024. Is there a motion for the consent agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Kroger, second by Shaven.
Roll call Lindberg,
Aye.
Nippert,
Aye.
Shaven,
Aye.
Kroger, aye, Kelly,
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Thank you.
Then we've moved on to the public hearing present to be heard regarding the proposed amended and restated Harlan Urban Revitalization Plan. We received anything, Ashley, for
Nope.
for that?
Nope,
Nothing?
nothing.
Anybody have any comments, concerns, questions? Guess we can ask Ashley. Who we gonna ask? None? Okay, motion to close the hearing.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Nippert, second by Peterson.
Roll call Lindberg,
Aye.
Nippert,
Aye.
Shaven,
Aye.
Kroger, aye, Kelly,
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Thank you.
Then moving on to Resolution 2589, adopting the amended and restated urban revitalization plan for Harlan Urban Revitalization Area. Is there a motion for Resolution 2589?
Motion.
Second.
I'll second.
Snooze, you lose.
Motion by Kroger, sorry, Kyle, you must have been adjusting your speed because Peterson got you for the second, so
Roll call Lindberg,
time delayed.
Aye.
Nippert,
Aye.
Shaven,
Aye.
Kroger, aye, Kelly,
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Thank you.
I think we delayed long enough, Kyle, you just didn't speak up, so we tried to give you a shot at it, so.
Well, I apologize. It was adjusting between my Apple AirPods and the Bluetooth in my truck, and I was trying to get it confused. So hopefully the delay is taken care of now.
I'm just glad nobody's cutting you off, so.
I appreciate that. Yeah, me too.
All right, we're gonna move on to other business. And then, I don't know if we need to look at this, I guess. There's been some discussion about the employee handbook changes and updates. I don't know if Ashley, if you want to just give us an overview of what's out there, I guess, and if anybody else wants to, I know Troy, Jenny, you guys were talking a little bit about it. Emailing back and forth, but
We just have some employees who want to use comp or accrue comp time and use it in the same week, and it's at time and a half, not hour for hour. So we need to get it in the
Trying to
handbook.
clean it up a little
We
bit.
need to clean it up a little bit and get some
Okay.
clarity.
and Troy, you had some thoughts. You're thinking it's pretty black and white the way it is.
That's the way comp time states on page, 14? Right? You only get comp time after the week's over. So I don't see how you can use it during the week, with the exception of you're using prior week's accrued comp time, be my interpretation, not a daily, even though the thing says you work 8-hour shifts, but your overtime comp time on page 14 states you get the comp time after a 40-hour work week, pre-approved. So I'm kind of on the stance that I interpret the handbook already stating, covering what the topic is, in my opinion. Sorry, maybe how we apply it might be interpreted different by others, but I think the handbook states of how it should be applied.
Well, it's kind of similar to overtime. If you're calculating overtime, you don't calculate overtime until the end of the work week. So work week is Sunday to Saturday, correct? So we don't know if they have extra hours until the end of the week.
Right.
Which is basically what you're saying. So they really shouldn't be able to use it in that week. They can use it next week, but
Right.
not this week because they're not there yet.
Right.
Right? So, but do you believe that this clarifies that? Or, I know you worked with others on the language.
Yeah,
Because you two are the ones that deal with
Yeah.
that on a daily
Yep.
basis, so.
yeah. I think this additional language does help clarify it because it specifies within that same 7-day work week. So, but we're also addressing like the flex time. So where those hours, additional hours, what could be rolled into comp time or flex. So the individuals are accruing additional hours, say Monday, Tuesday, and wanting to leave on Friday, but they're not using the 10 hours on Monday or the 10 hours on Tuesday. They wanted to bank all of that at time and a half, instead of using it for the 4 hours on Friday to take the time off. So that's where we're coming into that conflict, that flex and comp, trying to get time and a half on those 4 hours when they hadn't even gotten 40 hours in, and we're trying to use already banked time off. That's where we're having our issue currently with our employees. So that's where we wanted to say and specify that they cannot accrue and use comp time in the same 7-day period. You can't bank it at 1.5 and then use it out of your already accrued time. So I think that, and then making them flex their hours. So if you're leaving early on Friday, you've got 10 and 10, so you already covered that additional 4 hours for Friday, that's where your time goes. You gotta flex that out. And that's another issue that we're having. So that's what we're just trying to clarify, and that's where we think this additional language that we had them help us write helps clarify that a little bit.
My only hesitation would be if I made a motion, it would be to table it until you get a new city administrator in place. I just am hesitant on making handbook changes until somebody is on board, then these guys can go over it with them. Because if it was allowed before, why was it being allowed? Was there something?
Gene allowed
You
it
know.
because it's not, he said there's nothing in the handbook currently that was gonna stop, that we could
Right.
fall back on. And Gene knows
We've
about
been
all
working-
this.
Yeah, we had been working on this for months, trying to get it done and completed before he left. And then not having heard from Ann at Allers is why it got to now, before we got it. Plus, we wanted it in place starting January 1st. That was gonna be our, even approved by Gene, that was gonna be our go-ahead date starting forward. Everyone else, or 95% of the people are doing it the correct way. It's just those few that are trying to push it every time and say, well, it doesn't specify. Well, he let it go until we're like, we can't do this anymore. It needs to be the same for everybody. We need to have everybody doing it the same, which is why we came up with this. And so that's the reason why it's on this meeting versus one prior to, is because we were waiting on Ann to get the appropriate wording to us to make it clear.
The department head and Gene were both okay approving this with these couple employees or employee?
Well, it is a department head because it's an exempt employee.
It's an exempt employee, so that's where, yeah.
But we looked through the handbook and Gene's like, I don't see where there's anything where we can stand on not letting him do it, so. He said we need to get with Ann and get
it
verbiage in there.
reworded to where we want it in that way.
I'm fine using Jenny's example of waiting, but even though I'll stand fast to say the handbook actually identifies how it's supposed to be done.
I just still don't understand how anybody can accrue comp time in a week where they're working overtime, because you're obviously working extra hours.
No, they're
Because you
doing
can't
it.
take the time off. I mean, you're already working, if you're working over 40 hours, how can you
They're not- yeah.
use comp time too? That's what I'm struggling with.
So we can use our vacation and sick time as working hours, but they're trying to use their comp time as working hours.
Right.
Wow.
Because it says et cetera.
Yeah, it
In the
didn't
handbook.
specify.
It
comp
says
time,
vacation,
it said et
sick,
cetera.
et cetera.
There is a spot on page 14 where it does say pre-approved, which, and maybe this wasn't pre-approved, sick, vacation, and comp time is considered work time. So
And then,
maybe-
and
so
then
maybe
in
that
another
needs-
page, it
So then
doesn't say
maybe,
comp
so maybe
time.
you need to change more than one thing, because that kind of contradicts what you guys are saying.
If I might,
Ashley and Jen, this is Kyle. I have a question.
Okay,
Is there a maximum allowed that the exempt employee is allowed to accrue, like a maximum amount of comp time?
80 hours.
It's 80 hours, yeah.
Okay,
And it's not ever paid out.
Does this
so it's
particular employee
basically
that-
just time off.
for employees that are doing this, are they saying that they're using like comp time from their previous bank, or it's coming from the same pay period?
Sometimes they're trying to use it from the same pay period.
Or week.
Or same week.
Or, well, yes, from the
Okay.
same 7-day period. Yes, that's what I meant, sorry.
Which is what
Okay.
you're trying to prevent. Which
Which-
again, they.
So if an employee has, let's say, 40 hours of comp time in their bank, and then they're putting comp time, and maybe I didn't understand what the actual scenario was, reference that, and I apologize as I'm traveling here. I'm just trying to see, I'm kind of in agreement. I don't really see, I mean, if we only have one or two employees that are doing this, we need to make sure that we're not going to jump down a rabbit hole and open this up for other employees to start following suit, where we need to be fair, firm, and consistent going forward and set a precedence. That would be my only requirement, for example.
You know, the true reality, you already set a precedence. You wanna go down the rabbit hole, there's already precedents set.
Yeah.
Well, and that would be my next thing. I mean, has this been going on for quite some time, or is this something that's recently changed? I mean, why all of a sudden is this coming to the table now?
It sounds like they've been working on it for a while, Kyle. That's what I understand. That's what they just said, right?
Yeah.
I totally
This
agree with
exempt-
what
Okay.
they think.
This exempt
But-
employee is a newer exempt employee, so it was new, and that's kind of where some of that, when he became exempt status, read and questioned the current handbook, and even though we tried to explain it the way that it was, you know, it was. And rather than.
So utilizing Ann Smisek from Allers and Cooney, then what was her recommendation? Was her recommendation to go forward with the language change?
Yeah, she's the one that added the language that we're requesting,
Okay.
because that's what we work with every time on our handbook, so she already had it, so she just sent back the changes.
Well, if the attorney that represents the city has recommendation of language to change it, then I guess I'm not seeing why we need to, I guess I heard somebody say maybe table this for a future discussion with city administrator, I guess, or with the new city administrator. Would be my only thought.
Well, I'm guessing you had this before Gene left. You just didn't have time to get on the
He
agenda.
actually approved the agenda before he left. I had him do it one last time on Wednesday, so.
And I understand where Troy's
Okay.
coming from, that it's saying it's probably already in there, but I don't think it's a problem. Go ahead and put more in there to make sure it's in there, that everybody's aware of it. And I kind of understand, because I talked to you guys before we came in here, do we need to table this? But I think you guys have worked on this for a while. And I think if attorneys gotten involved, it generally takes them a little while to get involved and do what they needed to do. They did it.
We just wanted to make sure that nothing was contradicting the union contract, so.
And they
it's
looked at that and
Mhm.
everything's, yeah. I mean, I don't have well,
The only other
Vote,
comment
but-
sorry,
No.
Jay, the only other comment I had was on and I'm just looking at the revision page, between page 6 and page 14, on the revised side, page 14, the last sentence, it says, if compensatory time is accrued, it generally cannot be used until the next 7-day period. But on page 6, we're saying, if compensatory time is accrued, it cannot be used until the next 7-day period. So we're kind of still saying two different things
So
from page to page.
that generally would need to come out.
I would say yes. I mean, because
And then maybe that,
you really want to say, you
can
earn it
max.
here, you can't use it until the next 7 days or later.
Right.
Right?
and then what did you point out, Jenny, on page 16?
Oh, yeah, it just said that comp time can be used as hours worked.
Yeah.
if it's
Which I guess it
pre-approved.
can be, but
And anything
Set.
that's pre-approved is used for hours worked when computing overtime. So I mean, like, who is approving the supervisor's times off right now? Who's pre-approving their time off? Was it something that was pre-approved or not?
No.
Nothing, they never went. Tim, did you go to Jean to get your time approved off?
We don't really have a pre-approval.
So maybe you need to take a look at that and revise that too, if you're not really, everybody can just come and go as they please. If nothing's really pre-approved.
If something comes up tomorrow, generally, hey, I'm not gonna be in tomorrow, so it's not pre-approved.
yeah.
You know, we don't have a form to write down and request days off.
Which is nice to have,
Very nice to have, I don't wanna go there.
say.
We
don't
have
need one.
them.
So Tim, in your experience, I mean, thank you for being here, by the way. Is the new language confusing, or does it clarify, or does it muddle things? Or maybe that's not a fair question. You maybe haven't seen the actual language.
No, I've looked at, there's been a lot of discussion on this. The employees saw this today for the first time at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
So the employees didn't realize this language was going into effect. We had a meeting talking about capping at 80 hours. So we really haven't had a chance to look at it very much. The exempt employees section, that's the way I've been doing it. That's the way I've been explained, that's how you do it. It's not in the handbook, okay, this is how we do it, you know. You get their i's dotted and t's crossed and that. One statement I do have on this, on that second bullet point of the exempt employees, if comp time is accrued, it cannot be used until the next 7-day period. Well, does that mean that comp time that was accrued, those 2 hours that were accrued, those can't be used, or all of comp time? That it word is really vague there, to where I could fight that and say,
If I were to read that, interpret that, it's the time that you accrued, and say if I accrued it on this week, I can't use it until this next 7-day period or later.
you're right, but I have 40 hours of comp time accrued besides this.
In a 7-day work week? You're gonna
No,
have 40
I have
hours?
40 hours in my bank
In his bank already.
Okay.
already. I want
Gotcha.
to use those hours. I don't want to use these 2 that I earned on Monday. I don't use those Friday, but I want to use some out of this 40 that I already have banked.
I think
So I
that's-
think that language just needs to be clarified. Instead of it, comp time cannot be used. So it doesn't mean that, oh, I'm not using those 2 hours, I'm using these 2, you know what I mean? It's
But we don't allow comp time to be earned and used right now in the same 7-day period,
100% for most people,
except for, yes,
yes.
who we're trying
And that's
to.
where I just say if that it said comp time, instead of it, it would mean the whole bank of comp time.
Other than it's in that paragraph talking specifically about the work
that
week.
work week, yeah,
Yeah.
That's how I read that.
yeah.
I'm not a
Correct.
lawyer, but
And that's what, you know, just to clarify it a little more, just say comp time can't be used if you earned it. You know,
In the
not
same week.
it.
In the
And
same
don't
week
talk
earned.
about that comp time that I earned that week, talk about just comp time, period. You know what I mean? Just so it's,
and again, we want to make sure we're not crossing over into any
So I had the attorney do it.
Yes. Yeah, in union stuff, sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't finish my sentence there, so.
And then the other question I have on this is, as far as going to a 40-hour flex week for the non-exempt employees, in the handbook, it states a work week is 5 8-hour days. And if you are not able to fulfill that 8-hour day, you need to use leave time to fill that 8-hour block. So that kind of contradicts each other, saying, I only work 6 hours on Friday. You know, it says I'm supposed to have 8 hours down.
And again, I'm just gonna put my little HR hat on from my experience, and handbooks are a guideline. They're not gonna be black and white, you're not gonna catch every scenario. It's just, there's no perfect handbook out there. I'm just gonna say that, so I'm gonna be quiet.
Which I did have the whole street department in my office this afternoon, and they're all fine with it.
I had them at my house too.
Yep, so I said nothing's changing, that's why you weren't notified.
Yeah.
Well, so is there a motion to approve this as is?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Mayor, I will second that. I apologize. I was delayed there in transfer.
Roll call, Lindberg,
Aye.
Nippert,
Aye.
Shaven,
Nay.
Kroger,
Aye.
Kelly,
Nay.
Peterson.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right. We need to receive and file the Park and Rec Committee minutes from November 13th of 2024. Is there a motion to receive and file?
Motion?
Second.
Motion by Kroger, second by Shaben.
Roll call, Lindberg,
Aye.
Nippert,
Aye.
Shaven,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Kelly,
Aye.
Peterson. Thank you.
Out of that, we need to review the recommendation to approve moving forward with the engineering services of Snyder and Associates. And I got a message from Mr. Geddes that Mr. Miller would be here, so take it away, Mr. Miller.
This is what we've been talking about, entering into getting final construction plans for Dream Playground, basically for the parking lot and some grading work for the playground itself. It's been taking a while, making sure we're not over-engineering, having redundancy between the playground manufacturer and Schneider. And we had a pretty good Zoom call with all the parties invested, and that's taken out. So the main reason for getting these is now we can actually show people this is how many cubic yards of fill I'm gonna need, and that, so that way we can move forward with bids, with in-kind donations, once we are ready. These plans aren't gonna be ready until probably the end of January, so it takes a while to get them. So if somebody shows up tomorrow with $1 million and says, I'll give you $1 million if you break ground tomorrow, we can't. I would.
Yeah.
We can't. So this is just having things in place. And this was an anticipated step, so. And it's primarily just for the plans, the bidding assistance and construction services. Those are estimated hours if we need them, if we use them. We're planning on not using them very much for those items. So it's pretty much for the $15,200 for the plans.
Anybody have any questions for Tim?
It is Giving Tuesday, so if anybody's in a giving mood,
Tuesday.
I'll take anything and everything. Thank you.
Yep,
Thanks,
thanks,
Tim.
Tim.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendation for the engineering services for Snyder Associates?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Nippert, second by Shaven.
Roll call Lindberg,
Aye.
Nippert,
Aye.
Shaven,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Thank you.
Under the general report, anything to report, general?
Applications are due tomorrow at noon.
Okay,
How many do we have?
6 completed and someone turned one in without an application, so we hopefully will get that back in.
Cool.
Yeah. Tim has an update on river access.
Just a quick update on the river access. It's been a wonderful process working with this. Got an email. Final plans they want submitted December 17th with the holidays and that, so it's right around the corner. They should be completed by December 13th and submitted to the DOT for final approval. And that will give us a project letting of March 18th. Or then we can get the bids for the project. The big drawback to that is March 31st with DOT money, we can't remove and grub trees larger than 3 inches in diameter because of bats. Fun.
New requirement is just that particular date range. Is that a new requirement or just that's always a requirement with that particular date range?
You can't remove or grub from March 31st to, I believe, October 1st.
Okay, so you got date range, okay.
So that would push everything back. So we have asked to remove the clearing and grubbing from the DOT letting, and we will go out for bids using DNR funds for the clearing and grubbing, and hopefully we'll go up for bids for that within the next 2 weeks, where then that could be finalized hopefully by the first of the year, could get approved by council, and then they can start clearing and grubbing in January, February, and be completed by March 31st when the actual project then will start. So it's kind of fitting some puzzle pieces together with the calendar, but it looks like everything's going to come together. So just a quick update on river access. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
thanks, Tim. Anything else?
No?
Like
Smooth 24 hours, right? 48 hours, I
So
guess.
far.
So far?
We have a smooth 48 hours so far.
Okay. All right, thanks, Ashley. I don't have anything under my report. Shelby County Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Todd Lean.
Good evening.
Todd.
Good evening.
First, want to say thank you for the city employees and the volunteer firemen who helped us out Saturday night to get Santa down on the square, make sure that the tree lit up like it was supposed to. And everything went well. Had a lot of families, again, that I'm starting to see faces at these events that I don't recognize, which matches up with the number of welcome bags we give out each month from HMU, sending us over, new people who are in town. So it's good to see that we're getting families out, moving around to some of these events. This Saturday, we'll do our Santa Claus is Coming to Town, so we will visit the cities of Elkhorn, Irwin, Panama, Portsmouth, Early, and the old post office in Tennant will be our last stop. So by that time, we'll have had Santa Claus in almost every community in Shelby County, and got a lot of stuff for the kids to enjoy. So, this weekend's going to be really busy with things around Harlan. There's Emmanuel Lutheran Church is having a Christmas tea. There's the holiday pecans and bake sale at the church on the hill. There's a Shelby County Historical Museum's Christmas open house. That'll be from 1 to 4. And then on Saturday night, there'll be a performance of the play Home for the Holidays at Faith Family Church. You can get tickets at Milk and Honey, but you can also get tickets at the door, and that starts at 7 o'clock. We do have the annual Cookie Walk Wednesday, December 11th at the Harlan First Methodist Church from 11 to 1. And then finally on Thursday, December 12th, our last opportunity to host Santa Claus, as he will be here for Santa in the Cabins down at the museum from 5 to 7. And it's gonna be cool to see the inside of the cabins now they've all been redone. So, other than that, we're just or preparing for a lot of events and assisting with them, and so that's kind of the chamber's report for this week. All right.
Thanks, Todd.
Thank you.
And Joe had sent me a message, he's not gonna be able to make it tonight, so any comments from the public? Anybody up here? Anybody driving on IE? Nothing?
Negative, still going the speed limit.
Good job, Kyle. Represent well.
Obeying the law,
All right,
always.
meeting adjourned.